I kind of like how your screen is purple and mine is green, and it actually like I'm wearing green and your background's purple. It kind of goes well. We
Hmm.
didn't even plan.
It
We
be
didn't even
like
plan
that.
it.
It just happens. Things write themselves sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And how's the day been so far?
Um, I went into the like I have a day job, so just went to work today. Um, Came back a little early because I work hybrid, but they're not counting how long we stay in the office. So I'm just meeting the quota. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Went to work, got back home, took a nap, did some light errands and things. But yeah, pretty normal day. How about you?
I've been having some friends move in recently,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've been having to like make space in the house for them. So it's been a lot of just moving things around, packing things up,
Yeah.
unpacking things, and I don't know if I told you I am preparing for a solo exhibition in August, and so I'm hot swapping between like home renovation and then like studio time, just painting and getting stuff together.
I'm already knowing that's a lot, bro. Already knowing that. We moved into this current crib, which is we're in a house now, but before that we were in an apartment. But it's me and two other roommates, so three of us total.
Mhm.
And bruh, I swear it felt like it took 2 months to move for real. Just to like get everything here and then set everything up and like clean the last apartment to make sure. It just felt like it took a long time. Moving three niggas worth of stuff was a lot, bruh. Not gonna lie, bro, because we tried to do it and make it manageable, but bruh, it was a lot. So I'm already knowing it kind of puts your life on pause. So I commend you for still, prepping for the art exhibition and everything.
I appreciate it. It's an extreme sport. I feel like I get very little time to rest. I give myself very little time to rest. And
Yeah.
it just feels like it's too much to do. You know what
I feel you, bro. I feel you. Trust
I
me.
mean?
I feel you.
Man, thank you so much once again for just being down to to just be on the show for an episode. I think that um hearing your performance at the Super Cozy show, it was literally something that got me out of my seat and over into the next room to see just who in the world is playing this music, who's behind this sound I hear right now. Ever since I heard it, it was something where it just sparked a lot more curiosity in me about like who you are and what you do and why you do it. And I think that's a that leads me to my very first question, which is, I really want to know the why. I think off the research I did about you, I have an idea of the who, I have an idea of the what, but I have no idea of the why. Why do you do
Mhm.
music?
I feel like the most powerful moving force in my life is music. Like, um, it's the easiest avenue for me to experience like emotion. As simply as that is, it opens me up. When I hear a good sound, hear a good song, that feeling I get when I hear a good song and I get goosebumps and I feel like I kind of like transcend for a moment. That sounds like a big word, but honestly, it's that feeling, bro. Like nothing else, literally nothing else gives me that feeling. So like I like being able to create that and attempting it and mm, I love hip hop so much cuz I feel like it embodies everything that I love in music in general. Hip hop has allowed me to like explore other genres through like hearing other samples and yeah. But ultimately, like my why is like I want to give the purest why is like I want to give people the feeling I get when I listen to some really good music.
Can you remember the first time you experienced that?
Oof, oof. Okay, I would say like maybe my earliest memory. I grew up in the church a lot, like every Sunday, and sometimes on Wednesdays because my dad played bass, my mom she sang, my sister danced and sang, so the whole thing. So I just remember being like a kid, like a little baby kid, sitting next to my dad while he's playing bass at church, and like I would grab the drumsticks and start tapping on like the bass amp to the beat of the music, And that was my first experience just feeling like a part of the music. Like it, yeah, just it feeling like a part of me, you know?
Did it give you that same goosebumps feeling like you described, or was it something where you just kind of felt like, "Oh, this is fun"?
I don't know if it gave me that feeling because I don't know if I was conscious enough to like describe or remember that. But like, the the first like transcendent moment listening to music. I wish I could recall the very first one, but I can remember the first time like I started to enjoy hip hop, you know?
Mhm.
I didn't really even like rap music until maybe like the 6th grade, I'll be quite honest, just because none of it felt relatable to me. It was like in the Young Money, Cash Money era, which I can appreciate now, but like it didn't speak to me in the moment. So when I heard like Freaks and Geeks by Childish Gambino. A as cringe as that may sound to me now, but, like, that's me, that's, like, my inner child, you know what I mean? Hearing that song and, like, hearing Camp by Childish Gambino, that specific album opened a lot of
Mhm.
doors for me. I really fell in love with the instrumentals before I, like, fell in love with the songwriting part of it, you know? And I just love how he kinda, like, blended genres, you know? He's kind of a kid of Kanye, and I got Kanye's DNA, you know, through his, family tree, I would say. And then I went back and listened to Kanye more. But yeah, Childish Gambino, that Camp album really did a lot for me.
And so, if you weren't interested in rap until about 6th grade, what were you listening to before that?
My mom pretty much only played gospel music. My dad did play gospel music, but a lot of jazz and like neo soul stuff too.
Mhm, mhm.
Like I just remember being in the back of his Acura and like hearing Mad Sade and the smoothest, yeah, the sweetest taboo, smooth operator, them kind of songs, and really falling in love with that. And then like, but being a kid, before we had like streaming services and stuff, like you had to buy music, you know. So I remember getting an iTunes card and like I would listen to some Christian rap. I remember there's this group called Grits, and they were from the South, and they made like Christian rap, and I thought that was the best thing at the time. I also remember just like being into Alvin and the Chipmunks and like buying Alvin and the
Mm.
Chipmunks singles because that was my shit.
They actually used to go crazy. Like it sounds silly, but they was really onto something with that. Like
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like that was my kids bop, maybe, because it's like popular songs you already know, but it's like, oh, it's the Chipmunks, and then it's got the movie attached to it. I ain't gonna lie, they kind of cooked with just like building that world. You know what I mean? Like it's a movie, and then you could buy the songs afterwards. Yeah, there's like a comedy. I remember I bought this one album called like Midnight Snack, and it's some comedian who made a bunch of songs about like food and just funny, like just going downstairs at midnight to get different snacks and songs about food, like silly songs. So I would say like yeah, being a kid, you just kind of get into whatever like piques your interest. And then I think early teens is where I got into like more of the formative years of the music that really influences me now, you know?
were you a an instrumentalist? Did you pick up any instruments before you started songwriting?
Um, I grew up in the church, so I feel like that feeling was in me, but I never formally played instruments until middle school, like 7th grade. I got into band and I did percussion because it seemed like the coolest thing.
Hmm.
It felt like the coolest instrument. I'm not gonna lie, especially after seeing drumline. Like growing up seeing drumline and seeing Nick Cannon, I'm just like, bro, let me be on the snare drum, bro. That
Give
look
me that
lit.
hat.
That look lit. Yeah, bro. So I did percussion, and then when you're in percussion, they actually make you learn the marimba. So it's like the wooden piano, and
Mhm.
you have two mallets and you kind of play. So I was kind of learning piano there too. I got lessons and stuff. So then after that, I started taking piano lessons and for like 2.5 years. So I got like a very, very basic understanding of music theory to where I can mess around and make some beats while I'm producing, So I started out producing, but I never knew what I was playing. Like I never knew really. I still don't really know. I started teaching myself music theory a little bit last year, but like a lot of it is just feeling, bro.
But I think that's what's that's what's so good about music and just artistic expression now is that like it's it can help you to know exactly what you're doing, but you don't have to. You can really go off vibes and make something really special. And
Yeah.
I think that that's super nice that you learn enough to be able to just express yourself. It sounds like, and I mean, I'm
Yep.
sure like as you learn, practice more, you can, that can get more and more potent. But you have the basics down. You've got enough to play and run. So like that's amazing. So,
Yeah.
what about your? I'm curious to know about your influence uh, in the church. You said that you grew up, as a church kid, especially like playing music in the church, and your mom played gospel. I feel you. My mom to this day, that's just what she listens to. That's
Yeah.
like you don't
Yeah.
know any other music. It's just gospel.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know like how much of that impact is still on you now. Are you do you go to church still yourself, or what's your relationship with religion, and what kind of influence do you think it has on you now?
Yeah. I find myself now, like, I'm 26 now, as I become more of a older young adult, and just like, yeah, life just gets real, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I've come back around to seeking out God and engaging with religion voluntarily, I will say now in my like mid 20s. But like after growing up in the church, pretty much it wasn't an option, like you go to church on a Sunday. That's just what it was. Went to college and stopped, didn't go for like years. Um, and like recently started going back literally this past February just to experience it for myself. I'm in a stage right now where I feel like I kind of want to get back to my roots. Like I feel like I want to make the purest version of my art, make something that only I could make, and I think that comes from coming back to self. I can't deny, my church upbringing and the gospel influences and things like that. Um, so I listened to a lot of gospel music for a while, but I decided to go back to church because I think there's something you can't split the spirit that created gospel from just the sonics itself, you know? Um, so I wanted to engage with Christianity earnestly. I think my art brought me back to it, you know? And so I'm realizing what it is on my own terms now as an adult and as a conscious person with my own life experience and thoughts on things. But going back to it, giving it a good try to see how I feel about Christianity. Hopefully bring some of those influences into my music so I can just make something that sounds just like me. I'm still kind of in the starting stages of getting back to it though.
It sounds like a really like clarifying type of journey, like something where you kind of you grow up in a certain way, you go out into the world, see, some of what it has to offer, and then you're able to come back and see just kind of like where you are and where you were at the same time, and seeing like, okay, like how much of this like really was good for me, and how much of this really like kept me safe, and how much of this like have I allowed to fall off, and what can I put back on, like, is that kind of the process that you feel you're in right now?
Yeah, I feel like I owe it to myself to I also felt like when I was growing up in the church, like I maybe wasn't allowing myself to like fully get into the spirit of it. Um, I think that comes with just male ego, not wanting to like allow anything to overtake me and be out of control in some way. Um, but yeah, I'm coming to a point where I want to like self actualize, and so that part of that is spirituality, right? And like figuring it out on my own terms, and also think like I could go the route of just like I love gospel songs, so I could just sample gospel songs in my beats, and that's gonna sound like me. But it's like that feels like appropriation, Eh, rather than like engaging in, like I said, the spirit, the practice. the lifestyle that like created the thing, you know? Um, yeah. So
Mm,
it's all a part of like it's all a part of a thing. I feel like I owe it to myself. Like God gave me a talent, so I owe it to honor that by like reaching my full potential, not just in the music, but as a person. And those things are kind of intertwined, you know? I hope
mm.
that doesn't sound confusing.
No, no, it makes sense, and it it prompts me to another question with it as well. And I ask on my term on kind of like selfish curiosity terms because as somebody who grew up in the church and then like as I've gotten older and gone on into the world, things about Christianity, it has confused me. It's a lot of like unanswered questions or things that like don't make sense to me. And so I'm curious to know, like, as people who have like decided to turn back and go back to religion. Not to say that you left, but to kind of like bring it back up on the list of your priorities. I'm curious to
Yeah.
know what the difference, what's like some are you noticing any differences in the religion or in kind of how you felt about it or how your relationship with it versus whenever you were growing up? Because
Yeah.
you're now coming back to it you know, on your own uh you're wanting to come to it from a humble, earnest place. And so it's like, okay, I wanted to know if there's like just a list of differences of like, okay, this is how I grew up thinking about it, and this is what I know now, and this is like how I see it now. This is my new relationship with this religion and with God.
I would say like the direct different, like the largest difference is just as a kid, it's more of a passive experience. It's like you, like I said, you didn't have no choice. You're going to church on a Sunday. Uh,
Yeah.
Also, the church was full of like my family and like family friends, and so like the social element of it, I really like. My heart is there. You know what I mean? Like home is where the heart is. A lot of the folks that I grew up with that are closest to me are there. It was a family. It was like my uncle was a pastor. Before that, my grandpa was a pastor. As a kid, it's more so passive. Now, as an adult, like it's more of an active role. Like I'm busier than I've ever been in my life, so I quite literally have to carve out time to go to church. And to be honest, like I only went to church because anytime I call my grandma, that's the only thing that she cares about is if I went to church. I tell her about my whole week, about some tragic thing that happened, bro. And she's just like, Matt, did you go to church? And I wanted to tell her that I did, bro. Like I didn't want to lie to her. So I'm just
Mm,
like, let me go to church. Um, that helped initiate it, and as well as like all the music things too. But yeah, it's active, bro. I gotta go back, and while I'm in church, I'm taking notes and things that I'm like resonate with. I think resonate with me. Things that I might be critical of, or like, ooh, let me check in on this later. You know what I mean? Um, what is this person's agenda? I think I'm just a lot more of a critical person um, now. uh, I think I always kind of was, but like, being older, you see where the state of the world is and things like that. The church I've been going to is Ebenezer Church, right by the MLK Center. It's got a big civil rights history. I felt like sometimes being pro-black and like the idea of being a Christian were at odds, because Christianity was used to oppress us now and for hundreds of years. But it's cool to see that like you can interpret it in a way that is pro-black. But yeah, I got to be a lot more active with it now, and I will say like I am busy, so I could be doing more, but I can say I'm making an effort now. Yeah,
mm.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I mean your relationship to the divine, is personal. And you know, even if you have like ambitions of doing more, I think that you know, there's it's a lifelong process. It's a lifestyle. It's not just like a trend. It's not a thing. So, you know, it's
Yeah,
just this is kind of how you're able to show up in this season, you know, but
yeah,
I don't think it's I don't think it's anything wrong with, you know, the fluctuations so long as you continue to show up, you know. Um
yeah. Well, okay.
mhm,
As you were talking, I had an addition to that. It
go
also
for it.
feels just like a personal duty now. Um, I think I mean I touched on this earlier, but I think like my purpose is to make like the best art that I can to reach people in ways that like God put me on this earth to make the best art that I can. And I think to be able to make the best art that I can, I need to be a whole person uh, in life, spiritually, mentally, the craft itself, like technically, right? Like I need to work on all those fronts as like a
Mhm.
whole human being to be able to make the best art, you know? And yeah, so it feels like a duty to be quite honest. That's the biggest difference now, I will say.
Mhm. And it's being whole in the spirit, in the mind, in the body, and in your craft, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And and
Practicing it. It's like an active thing, like practice, you know?
absolutely. So I'm curious to know how you're sharpening those other facets, you know, of being the whole human. So in terms of, you know, the spirituality, you know, you're going to church, you're practicing your faith, and in your craft, you know, you're making music, you know, you're continuing to practice that. What about for your mental and for your physical?
Yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie. The mental and the physical are the weakest ones right now.
Mm,
And now that you speak about it, I'll be quite honest, like, I'm getting so many opportunities right now, and we've got so much cool stuff on the way. We dropped the EP. We've been working on it for months, bro. Months. I've been getting the caliber of shows that I've been wanting to, being in Atlanta. Um, I have a brand called Off Days where we throw events. So oftentimes, like MMW and off days, and then in like work, having a 9 to 5 job overlap, and it's the same timeline. And so, like, what's always last on my to do list is my mental health. Unfortunately, you know, until it shows up and it's like, nigga, you gotta stop and journal for a second and meditate. My meditation practice is probably the biggest grounding force in my life. That and prayer, but like meditation has held me down. I got into it like late high school and then into college. Um, that's super important for my
mm,
mental health.
mm,
Stop in a journal.
mm.
What were you
Go
gonna say?
for it. Go for it. You got it.
Yeah, yeah, and stopping a journal sometimes and taking time. Like it like you have to take time. You have to make time for yourself or else you can't show up for the other parts, you know? And so that's a part of just being like a whole person. Like I'd be stunting my growth as a person by not taking the time to reflect on like what I've been thinking and feeling, you know? It's as simple as just writing things down and being like, "Oh, that's what I think." And I often find that like I'm a lot more compassionate for myself when I take the time to journal. Like I always think I can be doing more, you know. I think that I want to be great, you know. I want to be a like one of the greats. And so I have so much ambition. And when I stop and slow down and write down what I've been doing and maybe some patterns in my life and like relationship stuff, when you take a step back to look at yourself as if you're another person, it's like, okay, you're not that bad. I see how we got here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is coming up again. Don't do this again, nigga. I had to stop myself from doing the thing again twice this very week. So, yeah, mental is super important, bro, and I need to make more time for it. I absolutely need to. When it comes to physical, I ain't gonna lie, bro, that'd be the last, bro. But the thing is, like, they kind of go hand in hand too, bro. Like, and which is so interesting because I just like all of these things intersect, you know? Like, One thing about meditation that taught me is like mind body non-dualism. Like Westerners believe that your mind and your body are two separate things, but like your mind can only perceive its own consciousness because of your body, and your body can only, like, you can't have one without the other, right? Like you can't
Right.
have the vessel without the thing, right? It's all one interconnected thing. Um and so like when I'm like built up stress, like this past month has been like the hardest it's been in a while. Mentally, can't lie. Um So simple as going for a walk, bro, doing jump rope. I got a jump rope in my room, bro. Like when I'm mad anxious and like I feel the pit in my stomach or in my chest, like letting it out physically makes me feel better, you know? So yeah, those things really very much go hand in hand. I'm just figuring out the balance, bro, because it's like, nigga, I need to get out content and I need to think about what's the next project, bro. And I gotta make the flyer for my event and then plan for my show that I got coming. You know, so yeah, I'm figuring out the balance, bro. But all those things are so interconnected, and it's kind of beautiful to like come to that realization. Um, I've also kind of come to terms with like maybe there is no perfect system, and I just gotta like fall out of balance, trip, nigga, pick myself up, and if each thing in my life was like a different ball I had to juggle. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gonna drop one, you got to pick it up and keep juggling type. You know what I mean? Like it's I'm coming to terms with just like the nature of imbalance and just going forward with it. You know?
Yeah. I mean, even when you think about like walking and taking your steps, they say like walking, you're really falling. You just keep catching yourself over and over again. And it's
That's a crazy way to put
really how it is. You're taking steps and you're just like, you're setting yourself off balance purposefully and then catching yourself on the other end. And it- and then it's individual. Everybody walks a little bit differently too. Some people take bigger steps, smaller steps. Uh, depend on type of shoes you got on. Depends on the terrain. It just and it's so interesting trying to find that balance. Um, and it depends on the season. Sometimes you have more time for your physical. Maybe you have like the job you work at the time gives you Wednesdays and Thursdays off, so you can hit the gym. Sometimes you got to work all through the weekend. It's like I ain't got it, and it's
it.
it's
Yeah.
tricky. It's tricky. But I am curious about your journaling and your meditation practices. More so in like kind of how you approach it, because I don't know, I'm trying to become that journaling type of guy, and I bought a planner. I messed around with journaling a little bit later last year, and I bought like a like daily journal proper for like 2026. I told myself I was gonna like journal every day, and I did for like 11 days or so, and then it kind of started just incrementally falling off. But I find that when I have a particularly memorable day, I will take the time and like write about it. But it feels like the more I write, the more I make myself feel as though I need to write more. And if I
Hmm.
don't have that time, it really just puts a like another kind of chore in my like to-do list mentally. And
Hmm.
either that or like it's a daily like journal. So sometimes I want to write and take up like 4 pages, and I'm like, well, dang, I can't do nothing tomorrow. I done wrote tomorrow's page already. So I'm curious about how you approach it, and how you strike that balance, or what type of day is there like a point in time where like today's a journaling day for sure, or like, how do you go about that?
Man, you know when they be like a nigga going through it when he just start randomly going for walks and shit like that. Like that's how you know a nigga going through it, bro. Like I don't have a consistent habit of journaling. I just when it gets bad, nigga, I gotta lock in. Like I can't not, you know? Um, so I wish I could give you a better answer, but like it's not a consistent. I would like to be more consistent because then maybe I'd feel more balanced on a day-to-day basis. Um, but yeah, for me, I meditate 4 to 5 days out of the week. Um, that's a consistent thing that keeps me grounded, steady. Like I got to start my day with that. Otherwise, like I just feel off, you know. So that's just like a thing, like brushing my teeth in the morning. Like I have to
Can you
15,
tell
20
me
minutes.
about your the type of meditation you do, and then like how long do you meditate for?
Yeah, I remember in psychology class in like what senior, junior year in high school, they taught us mindfulness meditation. And so I kind of taken that practice with me. So I used to use the Headspace app throughout college. It's guided meditation. They basically just tell you when to breathe. Not tell you when to breathe, but like they tell you when to focus on your breath, right? Oftentimes your thoughts will inevitably go, but it's important to remind yourself that it's a practice, right? Like the goal isn't to have no thoughts. The goal is to see your thoughts, acknowledge them, and come back to your breath. You know, not get caught up in them. Right? It's like to think of your thoughts as like clouds in the sky, and you are the sky itself. Right? Clouds like come by and they pass, and you like accept the temporary nature of thoughts and feelings and like learn to like feel them when they're there, you know, not deny them, not push them down, right? um or judge yourself for feeling some type of way, right? That's one of the biggest things too. So it is a practice. It is a practice, and it's easier when it's quiet in the morning, and um, I put on a timer for like 15 to 20 minutes. Usually it's not guided anymore. Usually I just raw dog that shit and just put on the timer and yeah, focus on my breath. Sometimes count the breaths, sometimes do body scans just to get present. Yeah, bro. That's my practice. Yeah. So I would say I would recommend if you want to like get into it, they have like the Calm app, but also there's like YouTube videos or just mindfulness meditation. I would say like the guided ones help you when you're starting just because you may not be as focused, right? Like they'll pull you back to focusing on the breath, right? It's like having a person be like, hey, after 5 minutes, like go by and you start thinking about the tasks for your day. A person's like, hey, focus on your breath and count to 10, you know? But I also don't want to feel like I'm dependent. So sometimes I'll go back to guided meditations, but mostly now I just like put on a timer. I ain't gonna lie. Um, it and I it's not really like a I know there's types of meditations where it's more spiritual and like you're saying mantras and things like that. I haven't gotten into that. It's just more so for like focusing on the breath and staying present for real.
Can you explain the benefits of something like that? Because you say that you just feel off when you don't get the chance to meditate. But can you explain to somebody what it feels to kind of be on in that context?
I'll say like maybe an extreme version of it, but like I would say the opposite is like you know when you wake up, you know when you doom scroll for like 2 hours, like and you feel like you feel like you ate McDonald's mentally, like you just ate a bunch of McDonald's, you just feel gross and just like unproductive and just like sluggish and kind of chaotic, like your brain can't quite focus and you're tired for some like you're mentally fatigued for some reason, although you've just been scrolling for like however long. I'll say like when I meditate in the morning, I'm more grounded. Um, it allows me to like because you know a big thing about mindfulness meditation is just like seeing your thoughts and not judging. It allows me to be less reactive to like the chaos of the world, big or small. You know, I can notice a thing or I can notice a feeling rising within me throughout the day. Let's say, bro, I was finna make my eggs this morning and the egg fell and broke. And it's 9 a.m., nigga, and I know I'm finna be late for work now. You know,
It's your last
that could
egg.
send that could ruin a nigga's whole day. Or at least like morning. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be the trigger. But you know, it allows you to just have a mindset of acceptance and yeah, things happen. Keep it
Mhm.
pushing. Yeah, yeah. Kindness, compassion towards yourself, groundedness. general state of calm. Yeah.
It's almost like a practice for the world. Like you, like as your thoughts just kind of pop up and come and go, like as you know, you kind of practice watching those thoughts kind of just enter and exit, and then things in life just kind of enter and exit, and you're just like, yeah, yeah, it's just what it is. You know, get you a little practice run for the day. Sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And it feels like the real world is the real practice. It's like you meditate so that you can like try to carry that into the rest of the world when you know your boss says some bullshit or somebody cuts you off in traffic, you know, and like you could wig out and like feed the anger, feed the fire of that anger, or you can like watch it as it bubbles up in you. You can like meditation allows you to like quite literally observe the physical manifestation of emotions, right? So when I'm anxious, I know I feel it like a pit in my stomach, and then it will rise up to my head and then kind of like float out. And like I know that feeling when I get it. So like whenever I do feel it in real life during certain situations, I know this is gonna pass. I can just focus on my breath and the thing nothing's permanent, you know? Um yeah.
That's beautifully put. It's exactly how it be. If you like, if you trying to tell people, just breathe. It's okay. It's go. It's not gonna be here forever. I promise.
Yeah, I be trying to tell my because it's like it'd be like that, like worst thing for me is like when I'm tired, bro, and I don't want to do shit for nobody. Like if you ask me for a favor in 2 weeks when I know I'm gonna be good, like but if I'm tired and hungry in that very moment, I'm gonna be like, bro, don't talk to me. You know what I mean? Like but like obviously that's a very temporary emotion. And so like, you know, 2 weeks later, you'll probably feel great, things like that. But like the ethereal nature of your feelings, emotions, and thoughts, and sometimes even physical feelings, you know, allows you to come to terms with that.
With music, you you want to capture how you feel, or at least kind of put on display how you feel in a given moment or in a given season. And for emotions that are so often just moving and changing all the time, it kind of allows you to like put down a stamp of like, look, this is what was happening at this time. How you go about managing when something, you allow something to pass versus like, no, this has to make it into a song. This has to be, something I need to start writing. Like how do you kind of judge your what makes the cut?
I feel like so oftentimes, you know, a lot of my music is about relationships, so I could kind of give that example, but just like oftentimes I don't write about it until after the fact, for better or for worse, you know. Um, but yeah, I think what I like to do in my music is like capture the nuances of experience and specifically with like relationships and things. Like I have a line in Ghost that like I miss you most when I don't get a text. Sometimes I let you ghost. The more she gets the feelings off her chest, it's like the less he knows. And it's kind of just like that push and pull in a relationship. You know, you miss what you don't have. You want what you can't have. I miss you most when I don't get your text. Sometimes I let you ghost. Like you might create that distance so you can miss the person and make the relationship last longer or at least feel that attraction towards the person a little bit longer, you know. um and I don't think like I felt that, but like when I articulated it in those like two lines, it was like, okay, hell yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And I just hope it's relatable to somebody. Like I feel like the best kind of art is just like or at least the best kind of lyrics to me are kind of condense the nuances of an experience, you know, uh, in a very cute, poetic, catchy way. You
Hmm.
know, that's what makes the best art.
Is there a certain aspect of certain emotions or certain things in life that kind of prompt you to make music versus just, like, I don't know if you would rap, if you would like make a song about the egg you broke in the kitchen, but then like something else might be something, and you're like, nah,
Yeah,
this definitely has to be a song. And I'm curious to know where that threshold is.
I default to writing about relationships so much. Like that's like my go-to because like that's where like I can draw the deepest emotion from experience wise. But at this point, I also feel like it's low hanging fruit, bro. Like I've made so much music now. I'm like, nigga, make something else. And so much of my music is like the good and bad of relationships, love versus lust. Like, how does he feel? Do I love her? Or is it just on the surface? And like, are we good for each other? Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. Um, and I found that as like a cliche in my own music, bro. I'm trying to get out of that. Like, I think naturally I don't like explicitly positive music, like explicitly like happy music, you know?
Mhm.
Um, not in all cases, but in most cases, or even just sonically, right? Like a song like 3005, I hate that song. I love Childish Gambino. I hate that. I don't like that song. It's just sonically, it's too happy and cute and shit. And I think just interesting art is kind of the sadder or like the more dark thing, the things that you kind of don't like. I feel like it's my responsibility as an artist to like rap about the things that I'm kind of scared to say
Mhm.
so I can reveal myself and maybe make somebody else feel seen too, you know? Um, so there's that point. And then there's also like I'm challenging myself now to be like, nigga, how is your music useful to someone's life? So if you heard the EP, the last song is Sips Tea, right? That's the very last song I put on there. And the chorus is woke up today, I'm on my way to all that I prayed for. Inhale the love, exhale the hate. I'm gonna take it slow. Then I got a part that's like a self affirmation. I'm a king, I'm a star, I'm a revolutionary. I'm tea, I'm the water, I'm the teapot. I'm a same, I'm a psalm, I'm a makusa, live, laugh, love to my heartbeat. Stop, you know, like I wrote that. That was the last song. Like some of these songs are 2 years old, bro. Most of these songs are like mad old. I made that last song the end of last year because I wanted something. I wanted to end the EP off like positively. There was a completely different song for that outro track. And it was like moody, and I was getting some crazy bars off, and I was like, times are fucking weird right now, bro. Like music should be additive to people's lives. You know, I want to speak on the nuances of relationships and the good and the bad and the gray areas of things, right? That's where I find the most interesting material. Yeah, give something like uplift people, especially black people, especially my people. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, that's something that's like growing much more importance to me. Like optimism, positivity, and like pushing for challenging myself to create that, you know?
That gives me that gives me two questions, and it's gonna go two slightly different directions. I'm curious to know which one you'd rather go down.
Yeah, let's go.
So first question, you speak about how you're capturing your how you feel about songs in a very like cute poetic type of way, like verbally.
Yeah.
I Man, I'm trying. I'm trying to get my writing bone going, and like the stuff I write just be sounding corny, man. And it's like, and it's not even about like I'm not trying to write music, but even just whenever I'm trying to journal or like sometimes I'll write a little something about like something that I paint or something that I'm drawing. It just feels very like yeah, you just tried to be like poetic right here, but it's not, it doesn't feel like it would just resonate very deeply with somebody. And then the other side is I remember you mentioned that like you felt as though your songs had gotten to be like too far into like the relationship genre and you want to kind of switch it up or just introduce some new. And then with with the music being uh with you saying that music should be additive to people's lives, it got me curious about the functions of different types of songs. And like I think about it like from a visual art perspective, you'll have something like a painting, like a portrait, and then you'll have like a graphic design for like I don't know, like a box of cereal or a billboard, right? So like that's very much art, but it's for a specific purpose. And then it makes me
Yeah.
think back on a music type of tone. It's like a song that's specifically for cookouts or like clubbing music. Then there's like music that you're supposed to listen to and feel something for. And I'm curious about uh what other types of functions you'd like your music to have, or other ways that you could be additive to people's lives. So it's like two different directions, but depending on where you want to go, we can go either way.
Ooh. Yeah, those are two big questions.
And we can circle back to the other one too. It's like, just whichever way you want to go first.
Yeah, because the second one requires like some thought from me, bro, because I don't have that answer off top. You
Hmm.
know, like what do people need right now, bro? What do people need right now? Um, okay, yeah, that's good. I'm gonna need a second for that
Go
one.
for it.
But the first question was just like, were you looking for some sort of like kind of advice on how to like write or like my approach to writing? What are you thinking? What were you thinking more specifically there?
Yeah, I mean there is the writing that is being able to accurately and eloquently capture your feelings. And then there's even like, just for you being a rapper, I really would like to know how you break down vocab and like rhyme schemes. Cause like,
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I even find those little like challenges that they be like, okay, what's a word that rhymes with such and such? And I'll be sitting there, I don't I don't and I'll be sitting there like, damn, I have no bars, bro. Like, and I think
Yeah,
it's really cool how like you can even rhyme certain words with like, you'll say half the word just to hit the rhyme scheme, and then you'll come back with the rest of the word to make it make sense. And it, like, damn, people are styling out here. Like, I ain't got none of that.
I love hip hop, bro. I mean, art in general, but like, yeah, rap is cool. Like, wordplay is the coolest shit ever, bro. I'm not even the best with wordplay, bro. It's niggas like Wayne who are living right now. And man, bruh, I feel like one day I'm gonna become like a professor like Lupe Fiasco on hip hop. Like that nigga literally has hip hop 101. Like he literally like has a class. Um, I really wish I could like technically describe this shit, bro. But it's really like I think for me, I just kind of know it sounds cool and like works with my delivery, you know. And I think I have a nice rap voice. I think people like say I sound like Jay-Z when I rap. I think I do like a mini New York impression when I rap sometimes. Um, I think I just have like a taste for like what I like to see in raps. I think in art in general, like that comes naturally to me. I imagine you see like a painting or some digital art and like or like you have a taste level for digital art. I'm sure like there's a like my favorite rapper is Earl Sweatshirt because that nigga does crazy things with words and yeah, I'm sure you have an Earl Sweatshirt for visual arts, right? Like you have that person in your head who's like the epitome of the flyest nigga at this thing, you know? Um, and so I think that's like a taste level that comes very naturally to you. And I think, and it's just intuitive, right? Like I'm sure you can see something and you're like, I like that. I like how that works visually, and I know why, right? Like you can break it down in your head. And there's always a thing of an artist of like your taste level, like your skill level trying to match your taste level, you know? And so it's like your taste is always up here and your skill, you're always trying to get your skill to meet your taste level. And as you grow and get older, your taste evolves and like sometimes gets more refined and things like that. And so I wish I could break it down technically, but I think I just know what I like, how I like things to sound and how I like things to roll off the tongue with the way I can rap naturally. And so it's just like I just try to meet the gap. I just try to bridge that gap however I can, you know? So yeah, I think just play to your strengths for real, for real. And I'm sure like songwriting is just intuitive for me. Um as I'm sure, you know. visual arts is as intuitive to you, you know. Um, but I think like play to your strengths, like make more shit. Also, don't try to be like performative because I think there's a thing too when I was first rapping where I tried to make the craziest sounding bars or like follow extremely intricate like rhyme schemes where it took me like 5 days to write a verse, nigga, because I'm trying to miracle, lyrical, spiritual, no, 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 spherical, no, no, no. You know what I mean? Like trying to do the most to like impress myself or like a version of what I think is good rap. You know what I mean? When I think you can kind of just like, I think like, yo, expression at the end of the day is like what matters. Does it feel true and does it feel right coming from you when you say it, when you write it? I think that's what matters more.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense too, because then I heard from somebody that all these things, whether it's art or music, even like cooking, you're really just trying to transfer what you have to somebody else. And
Mm,
your mind, your conscience, and like, they talk, they kind of put shadows in front of this light. The light is like who
mm,
you are inside. Your mind will talk you out of things, or oh, that's not enough like such and such, or that's kind of too much like this, or this is corny, this is whatever. And you put all these shadows in front of the light, and it's more so just about like trying to get all the shadows out the way. And
yeah.
so it's like so long as it's as close to like the pure light as possible, it's
Mm,
gonna hit. It's gonna be a clean transfer, and that's usually what
yeah.
resonates with people.
Yeah, and I find that people who are deemed masterful at their craft, like they have a season where they're barring up crazy. Like Earl Sweatshirt, for example, when that nigga came out, he was a prodigy. Like no, he was 16 years old, rapping better than the greats. Crazy rhyme schemes, triple, quadruple entendres, all type of stuff. And then he followed his career, and you see him come around on the other side, and his bars are not like his rhyme schemes are like much more simplistic than when he started, but he's still saying profound and like impactful things. It's interesting because when you see a master do something and it looks easy,
Mm,
um, and I think there's like an arc to like every artist where a lot of them I see where they start and do the craziest shit ever, come back around and realize it's the simplicity that makes it the most potent work.
mm,
And I think I'm still on that journey. Like I want to get to the point where this what I do feels effortless. It definitely doesn't. There's still
mm,
effort towards it, But I want to get to the point where I can feel like, yo, I'm not trying I'm still trying to like impress myself and maybe like a version of what I think is good raps, like whatever that is to me. I want to get to the point where it feels just like the least performative possible, you know?
mm. Hmm. Dang. That reminds me of it reminds me of like Picasso, where he was like 10 and he's painting like perfect portraits. And then by the time he's like 40, 50, he's got all these like crazy shapes and these sideways faces. And he's like, it took me, 3 years to learn to paint like a master, but then it takes me a lifetime to learn to paint like a child, because they're like, I guess there's just like
Yeah.
that purity about it. Dang.
Absolutely. Even things like writing good hooks, bro. Like a good hook is always the first thing that comes to mind, the easiest and first thing that comes to mind. I find, um, flow wise at least. But I also find like a master knows how to write a good simple hook that's hella repeatable, a nice melody or a call and response thing. Like a good hook is simple because it's meant to be catchy and catch people first listen and then being able to repeat it back. And there's something masterful about being able to do that. And I take pride in the like barring up, going crazy with the entendres, the wordplay, the metaphors, the rhyme schemes and stuff. But like, yo, like connecting with people is more important than uh, being able to do the coolest tricks. Like, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So real. because I had a friend who I grew up with, and we would draw. I mean, I met her in high school, but we would draw a lot together, and I would always try to go like way harder in the drawing itself. And I'm sitting there like, putting all these details and all these crazy colors and shadows and all this stuff. And then like she'll go and she'll draw these characters, and like they sometimes they're literally scribbles. And people are like, they like mine, like, oh yeah, this is dope, fire, nice. And they see hers and they're like, oh my God, like, can I have this? And I'm like, wait a minute, it's a
Yeah,
scribble. What do you mean? And it was
yeah.
like, it's that connection, it's because it was their favorite character. It's because, she drew them or like their dog or, something that resonates with them.
That's what I'm realizing is like the best artists are people who have a perspective, like have a unique take, have something only they can give to world, like something only they can create. Like that's the ultimate goal is what I'm trying to get to. Like it's just making the form of art that only I can make. And it doesn't have to be the best thing. And I think that's something that like uh feels kind of like opposite of hip hop's philosophy where it feels kind of competitive at times. And like I have to be better than the next nigga. And I do feel like trust me, I feel like I'm better than all these niggas, like on a very real. But I know at the end of the day, it's like, yo, like Tyler the Creator, he's not the best rapper, but that nigga has makes sound like he has made a signature sound, incredibly identifiable and like touches people in a way that like nothing else can, having a unique like curated perspective and like way of showing your art to the world is way more important than being like the flyest nigga, the most technically skilled nigga. That's why like coming back around to like, just the feeling like you could go and learn music theory and be learn everything in the world, you know what I mean? You could go ahead and sound like the next nigga versus somebody who just like makes something from that pure feeling. Yeah. And some people just born with it. You know what I mean? Like we all seen those like prodigies. You know what I mean? Like that girl probably just got like that's just her sauce, bro. You know what I mean? Like from a
Hmm.
very young age, she's figured out what's her unique style and her perspective and shares it with the world. And it's like, yo, like K Tronada, he's got his unique sound, bro. That's my favorite producer. Like nobody,
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of people imitate him, but it's like, yeah, that's Katra's sound. A perspective is way more important than technical skill. Like that's something I definitely grown to realize.
Speaking of perspective, sharing perspectives, I know you mentioned earlier you dropped a new project, and I had the chance. I listened to it multiple times over, um, and man, it was really good too. Like I wasn't surprised, but I was definitely impressed. Like it was good stuff, and I'm curious to know about how you went about approaching like a whole project. It's one thing to put out, a single here and there to mess around with beats, mess around with writing, but you're like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing. Or was it something where you made enough singles and was like, all this stuff could kind of go together? Like, how
Yeah.
did you go about making that?
Yeah, my brain is very simple in terms of when I go about making projects, it's usually with one producer. Um, this project was produced by LESSGO, with 1.5 songs produced by me. Um, but yeah, bruh. Usually my process is like, all right, what is the thread, right? Off top, easiest sonic thread is the same producer, right? It's gonna sound like it comes from the same person in some form or fashion. So that's checked. That's usually how I approach that. Next is like themes and concepts and things like that. And that ultimately just comes from throwing stuff at the wall. So I'll just make a lot of songs. Like I'll usually get a beat pack and I'll make a lot of demos and figure out, okay, what's rising to the top. What are some themes? What's like in this album, I do a grunt throughout a lot of the songs, like a whoo. You know what I mean? And that just kept showing up in the songs. And it's fun. And I notice myself doing that in life in general. So that's just like one of the like motifs, I guess, that show up throughout the EP. And after enough demos were made, um, and some of the singles dropped, right? Like some of these songs are from 2 years old, from 2 years ago. Yeah, enough of the songs were out. I had enough demos in the background where I was like, okay, these are gonna be on the project. These could be on the back burner. I don't feel like they'll really go anywhere. Um, I start building it as I start after I throw shit at the wall. Um, and then certain things like will inspire me from real life. This project, like the whole thing about emotional baggage, right? Like it's called Let's Go. It's about like the emotional baggage that you have. Like we all have some, right? And like don't let that stop you from experiencing life. Push forward. In a previous relationship, I was told like I have too much I have too much baggage, right? Not even just emotional, but like this shit, all the shit that comes with me, was too much. And I was told that, and I've never been told that before. And so that kind of like sparked the theme of like baggage and what that could look like. And so after I got the songs together, I'm like, all right, these are gonna be on the project, How do I make it come to life visually? Collaborated with my music manager, Alexis, and we figured out the creative direction and kind of going the hiking way with it, like the kind of like gorpcore hiking aesthetics, different sorts of symbolic items hanging off the bag and things like that. And building a world because it's like first you make the songs and then it's like all right, how do we build like a world and a narrative around that can extend with the content, right? It's like the songs and the cover art and then the content, and then we're planning like a live experience soon. And how do we make this thing bigger than just music? Because like, one thing I learned from Childish Gambino, especially because of the internet, that album specifically is like, just the music isn't enough for people. Like you have to build worlds for people to live in, you know. And I'm still figuring out how to do that, but like that's why I love the process of Let's Go. It's been a lot to get here. Trust, it's been a lot, but I'm figuring out, okay, we're gonna make a bunch of pieces of content based on different songs. And what does the wardrobe say about the character in this? He's wearing the bag. All right, in the performances, I'm gonna bring the bag. I'm gonna take it off when I head on stage. I'm thinking about sound design when I start walking on stage now, and that live experience. What's the merch gonna look like? So like really building that world is something that's like important to me and getting that practice of it because like I'm still upcoming, and I can't wait till I really get a budget to do some cool shit. But like we gonna do what it do with what we got right now, you know.
It's so inspiring because it was so funny because I remember when you had first walked into the cozy show, I was like, damn, you got a lot of shit. Where did you come from? I was like, where did he come from, bro? Like,
Where did this nigga come from? For real, for real. It creates
yeah,
intrigue. At the very
for
least, you're like,
sure,
who is this nigga with this big ass backpack, bro?
for
Like, and that was the
sure.
whole point. Like, yo, let's make the hiking pack the big, like, huge and like inconvenient to walk around with. Like because that's what it feel like sometimes when your girl talking about nigga, you got too much going on.
Yeah,
Well, you know.
yeah. And so then it's like it reminds me kind of, it's just in the same like realm as when Timothy Chalamet was advertising the Marty Supreme, and he was walking around with those dudes with the ping pong ball heads, and he's just walking around. There's like four dudes behind him with these ping pong balls. I'm like, and I think that's so cool, and it's such a good way to get people asking questions and to like grab attention because that's really ultimately what you want because it's like this is just to, I mean, it is a great metaphor and there's creative purpose and intention behind it, but it's ultimately to like bring people to the music. And
Yeah.
I'm curious as to like, did you have any sort of reservations or any anxiety or shyness about like I know this is gonna be inconvenient. I know this is gonna be a lot for people, and like I don't want to be that guy to like be doing a lot and everybody looking at me. Like, do you have any of that?
Yeah, no, bro. Like I've seen like my idols are Tyler, bro. That nigga has a new character and like a new um yeah, a new era every album, you know? So this is like my version of that. Like I'm a son of Tyler. You know what I mean? Tyler's a son of Kanye and like the family tree goes up, you know, but yeah, bro. Like it's performance art. I think it's the coolest shit I've done so far, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's a visual marker, bro. Like I've gone out with the pack on and people have recognized me because they've seen it before, either in a piece of content or at another show. Like strangers, people I've never met before. And so like I'm like, okay, I know it's working. Like I know it's working. Um, but yeah, bro, it's funny that you say that because like I made this joke like like putting on the backpack and like putting on the straps and shit and like the things kind of clanking around. You gotta adjust it. Like there's like bands, elastic bands that hold certain pieces together. So it's just like there are awkward moments of it's like in SpongeBob, you know when he does the Goofy Goober song in the movie, and then at the very end he's just kind of hanging on the strings, and he's just kind of like twisting side to side and shit. He just hanging there like after I finished my set, and then and then the host comes on and they're like, "All right, MMW, yeah," and I'm like. And then it's like, oh, the strap's twisted and shit. It scratched my arm and shit. I'm just like walking off stage, clanking away, trying to slide by people. It's just kind of awkward sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Only to me though. It's just how I feel. I feel like the nigga dangling on the strings after he just flew through the stadium. You know, you're just kind of sitting there for a second.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just honestly been like the most fun I've had with an album so far. So it's cool to just try this shit, you know?
Mm. And what about for people who see you, after this, if you're still walking around with the bag, are there par- are there particular items that people can spot that mean certain things to you?
There's a bra right next to a Bible. And like there's a bra hanging off, and then there's a Bible under it strapped onto the backpack. You know what I mean? And that's just like the duality of man. You know what I mean? Like lust lust and spirituality sometimes feel like opposing forces or like competing forces in a young man's life, you know. So that's there's that. There's a Jamaican flag hanging off that. That's a homage to my heritage. My family's Jamaican. um you know, we got like water bottles and things like that, that just have to do with just like symbolizing just like surviving as a black man in society, things like that. But yeah, everything's got some thought behind it for sure.
And how long did it take you to put all the items together,
Bro, I'm finna drop a tutorial, bro, because I ain't gonna lie, it took a minute. We shopped, we went to a thrift store, got all the items. Some of them are like personal items, just things I have. Right, there's like a pair of Crocs strapped to them. They're my Crocs, and I haven't worn them for months because they just been on the backpack. They're my favorite Crocs, bro. It took a while to like source all the materials. Like we made like a production list. What are we gonna get? We went, got the things to attach everything because it's like you can get the pieces, but how are we gonna attach everything? And just order those online. Took a while though, and like to set it up, I literally have like time lapse videos. I'm gonna drop it one day. Like all the BTS after like the majority of the rollout, we finna drop the BTS of just like all the trial and error, the outfits, like everything took time to come together. All the different outfits, the items, the construction of things. But it's cool, and it's actually like it's well built. Like I can literally just pick it up and throw it in my car and take it off and go on stage. Like it holds together. It's not like a fragile prop, which I like.
hmm
It's by design.
Man, it's so cool. It's really inspirational because like I've been trying to think of ways that I could do something similar for the show. Just something that can like grab attention and um
Mhm.
and really like nod to what this is in an artsy way. But you know, the Timothy Chalamet thing was the first example that I had seen, and then after learning about your project, I'm like, dang, this is like another example. This is so tight. I had to figure out some kind of way to make that work. Um,
Yeah. Shout
but
out Marty Supreme. That movie
what
fucked
up?
me up a little bit. Marty Supreme, that movie, did you see it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, bruh. That was like I was like extremely hyped for it. But it was like a little deflating after watching it. I'm curious, like this is obviously a tangent, but I'm curious what you got from it. Because for me it was just like, yo, your fate is set in stone. Nigga, this nigga Marty went through the end. Like Marty got a dog, like I got a dog in me. Marty got a different kind of dog in him. You know what I mean? He went the ends of the earth to accomplish his dream, and ultimately it's just like, nigga, you got a kid and you lost. Like you didn't get to really do what you wanted to do, and it kind of left me feeling it at the first watch, just like, damn, your fate is kind of set in stone. You can try to will your way and force your way to like create a destiny, but ultimately it's like it's out of your hands, you know? And maybe part of it is like you can't be an asshole about it. That's why he didn't accomplish it. But like, yeah, I'm curious what you got from it.
Um, I think that I definitely got the like that super ambition. Like them mug had like super armor on. Like he literally had the blinders. He was like, if it's not about winning the world championship ping pong, I literally don't want to hear about it. And I like the. I think it was a very extreme example of the power of ambition. I've always been a very ambitious person, and to the point where it has been abrasive in certain relationships and just with people around me. And so I've resonated with his level of ambition, not to the point where I'm doing what he's doing to get to what I want, but just to the point of like he's so after it, people kind of think you're a little crazy, and you're like, yo, you what are you doing? Like it's like you don't get it yet. You don't get it.
Yeah, yeah,
And and I think that that level of ambition is like what it takes. Like I think everybody that makes it and everybody that's made it has had that same kind of just grit and that drive, that like gas of just like, no, like I need that, you know, and
yeah,
I I know now it's a lot more popular to kind of balance, you know, your work and your rest and like mental health um and just being able to kind of softly, smoothly coast your way at your own pace. But I do think there's a degree of like, no, you got to mash the gas. Like
yeah,
you can, you know, and I think that that just kind of that was just a nice little like resonating feel for me. I got out of that movie feeling like feeling proud of how ambitious that I am. But at the same
mhm,
time, it reminds you that like how you get there matters, because by the time you come down, you can have a, you know, you can be surrounded by different things depending on what you decide to do. Stop at nothing, but at the same time, remember like what you're stepping on along the way. Remember what you're using to get there, and like do it tastefully, you know.
yeah, bro. Yeah, I will say like Marty was a dickhead, but it was kind of motivational to see him go after it like that, you know.
And just in any, just literally anything. Like um I don't know if you listen to, if you've ever heard of any interviews like from Mr. Beast, but
Hmm.
like he's kind of on that, he's like on some real life. Well, he's not as like messy as Marty was, but in terms of like he was like 10 years old in middle school talking about starting a business like via YouTube when kids are like, I just want to play the game. I just want to like trade Pokemon cards. And he's like, you want to start a business? And I don't know, just feeling like that overly ambitious kid that like just really wants the finer things in life or just really wants to make it. and feeling
Yeah,
as though people around you don't really get it or they're not on your same kind of wavelength, you know?
hyper focus. I think certain people are blessed to know what they want to do from a very young age and have the work ethic to meet that ambition as well.
In the creation of your project, can you tell me what the kind of the day in and day out felt like for you? Where you said that, you bought a beat pack, you were making a bunch of songs. Were you just kind of like hitting it, or were you kind of like, I'm gonna do a little here, I'm gonna do a little bit there? What types of things were you kind of like, were you dealing with positively, negatively throughout it?
Phew. It's something I can't say, but um, there, I like to get in a mode where I can make space to like go into songwriting mode. I think you mentioned something earlier about just seasons. And so I like to make space where I can go on long stretches of like, all right, bruh, I want to get more collaborative, like in real life. That's something I'm working on, doing more studio sessions and stuff with people in real time. But the way I work best currently is like send me a bunch of beats, leave me alone in my room with my mic for a couple weeks, and let me just send you shit, you know? um, so yeah, I think when I first started, you said I got a beat pack, just a bunch of different beats. I'm going in at night making demos. I use like I have like a real mic, but I like this for making demos because like it's like a mic you would see like at a live show, um, where I can play the beat out loud and kind of just mumble things to myself. It's a very comfortable like um, writing process for me, where I can kind of go between mumbling flows, writing things down, punching in bars, but it's very comfortable because I don't have to have like the headphones in. Just do the most. It's very much like a freeing open process. I can get up, the cable's long enough to where I could just get up and then mumble to myself, do what I need to do. But yeah, it's usually like a couple weeks of making a lot of demos, and I like when I can get that momentum of like, okay, I can set time aside now to get in songwriting mode and make a bunch of stuff, send it, see how my collaborators are feeling. And so yeah, we got out some singles at first. People liked them. We were planning on like finishing up the project. It got paused for a couple months, then came back to it, excuse me, end of last year to finish it up. Made like two extra songs. Cause I was like, three of these songs already dropped as singles before. I need to give people enough to listen to a project. So I added four unreleased songs, right? Like two of them I made completely new. And then the other two I had from that session of making a bunch of demos and things. After getting them, it's like a process of, you know, sending them out to get features. After I have all the materials back, it's sending it to my engineer. Shout out Troy. So I send the files to him, and it's a process of just going back and forth. He sends mixes, I review, give feedback, he adjusts, and so we have like a product that we feel good about. Um, then while the songs are getting mixed and mastered, it's like, all right, let's concept what's the visual narrative around this. That's where the whole hiking thing came into play. How do we make the content? Which songs are we making content for? All that stuff. So it's quite a long process. It was like 2 years of just starting, stopping. Not gonna lie. But yeah, we got here.
Would you be down to do something like it'd be something like a second interview, but we would be going up Stone Mountain with the pack,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I could put some stuff together, and we can be just like pulling specific things off our pack and explaining what this particular item means, just to get a little bit more context, like each other's kind of baggage, but then just also like for the story itself, and even just for the aesthetic. I think just like too crazy, just packs going up the mountain. People are like, what the heck? And
Mhm.
just to like further push the album, we could even have like the music playing, just in the just like on a speaker, as we walk up. Um this is just it's a side thing, but it was an idea that literally just popped up as I'm thinking about it, because there is I've been surrounded by stuff recently just because of all the moving, like with the homies and stuff like that. Feels like I am overcrowded. It literally feels as though I am just in stuff. And I'm like, yo, it's too much. I'm trying to get stuff off of me, and it's too much going on. And I'm like, man, I would just figured I'd ask just here, just to see like how, if you're even into that type of idea or what.
Yeah, yeah. I actually had so we're making a live experience now, and like my initial idea was very close to that. Like my initial idea for it, very close to what you're describing. Then it formed into something less physically exhausting for me, and more like invite a bunch of people who can come and watch me perform too. But it's got similar elements of explaining like what's the symbolism of these different items and things like that. So I'm interested if we could like fold that into the live experience I'm doing. It's currently planned for May 30th. Um, so I would love to like talk to you about it because it's like we're really getting down to like planning and stuff now, but we're figuring out we want to have some content captured too for sure. So I think it might be interesting to be able to have you there. Um, since we're already kind of on the same mindset with it, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, any way I can I don't want to be obstructive of, the plan that you have already, but I just figure that way it's not like where you're having to, I know it'd be exhausting. It's like, but I'm sitting here doing it with you, and then it'd be
Yeah, yeah,
like just like the story of being able to like just share the different parts of like, this is the thing that I'm carrying, and this is the thing that I'm carrying, and it's like the narrative of like two people being able to share what they have going on, what they're carrying, and it's like a metaphor for people being able to do that amongst each other, in everyday
I
life.
really, I really like that. But I'm interested. So let's talk about it
Mm.
more. Let's talk about it.
Speaking of roommates, and uh, I have some. One of my favorite songs of yours is Lighthouse, and it's the collaboration with you and your roommate, Chigusa.
Yes,
And
sir.
I am just curious about, I have my roommates are creative as well, and one of the things there, I know that like creativity feeds off itself, but I'm also one that enjoys his own space to be able to like think and like breathe, and uh, I'm curious as to how you guys manage space and kind of collaboration just within the home. It's normal. It's one thing if y'all just pull up to the studio together and then y'all can peace out and go home. But when you guys are sharing the same living space, are there ever any, what are the benefits and like kind of the drawbacks to that?
Yeah. For context with Lighthouse specifically, that was made when we got an Airbnb. I think this was like 2024. But like we got a B&B with all our homies from Miami, like South Florida. It was like 13 of us in the B&B in Orlando or Tampa. And we made so much music, bro. And me and Chigosa made the most fire shit together. It's just really cool because I had never been in that kind of collaborative space before. It felt like lightning in the bottle. Like, imagine just like a bunch of artists and producers with a bunch of different rooms. Every room that you walk into is a different sound that somebody's like live creating. So like I literally walked past Chigusa's room. I wasn't like in the B&B. I wasn't even trying to necessarily lock in with him at that moment. But then I heard the song and I heard like the drums and the guitar, that like loop, that main loop that just like
Mm.
with the hand clap.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fire, bro. Wait, let's cook real quick. And it's just like, yo, genuine was like, yeah, I walked past it. It's like, in the Looney Tunes where like the cartoon smells the pie, the scent of the pie, and starts floating and just goes into. That's what it was like, but with like this song. And we made that shit, bro. And I wrote it very relatively fast. It's cool. Like that affirmed a lot of things for me just because, like I said, I'm still getting used to collaborating with people live. But like when you have the time and space to solely dedicate to art, which we rarely have as artists who have to work for a living, when you have that space to solely devote to art, you can make some dope shit and efficiently, you know? So yeah, we made that in Orlando like 2 years ago or something. But yeah, when it comes to now living in this crib, this nigga lives like upstairs. Um, yeah, I think we need to like you would think we have so much more music than we do from living with each other for 4 years in Atlanta, but we don't. Like we have like maybe 3 or 4 songs out together on streaming platforms, but we should have way more music together just by virtue of living together. But we don't. We kind of just live in our separate worlds, kind of, and
Mhm.
it's just funny, bro. We should, and we've attempted to like work more, and like I'll get sick or like work schedules don't line up and things like that, but it's gonna happen, bro. Me and this man need to make a collab EP. Genuinely, there isn't much overlap. It's very easy to separate. Like he's working on his own stuff, I'm working on my own stuff. We catch each other in the kitchen and like we'll chat for hours, me, him, and Juvair, because they're brothers to me, like beyond the music shit. It's just like we're three niggas, and I feel like our dynamic works very well in terms of like we all fill in different gaps that each of us have, and support each other very well and motivate each other by virtue of just creating and doing our own thing. So like maybe we're just like collaborating in terms of vibes and aura. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just I hear this nigga making some fire shit from scratch. I'm like, bro, I need to get my producer bag again. I see
Mhm.
Juvair, he's working with clients and making some really cool productions. And the way we have a guest room, the way he flips the guest room to make a crazy set, I'm like, all right, yo, we can step it up. Like we don't even need no crazy budget to do what we got to do. Um, so yeah, it's a mutual motivation. It's never intrusive, to be quite honest. We have plenty of space here, but it's nice, bro. I love living with these guys.
Mentioned that they're like brothers to you, and it made me think about the different people in your life that kind of help keep the engine running smooth, just on all fronts. And you know, nobody's doing it all by themselves. I'm curious to know if there's any specific people who you'd like to give some flowers to that, are really just pulling a lot of strings, that people may not know.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Especially with Let's Go, this last run. Um, this was an effort. Shout out Esco One, the producer of most of the tracks on the EP. But when it came to like creative direction, and everything afterwards, Alexis is she's my music manager. She's very close collaborator. We work on ideas. We have a good back and forth on just bringing ideas to life. She went to school for art, so she just like understands things and has an ability to like, yeah, we have a good back and forth to really like shape our ideas and strengthen them together. And Lucid Jason, he's been a creative collaborator as well, and he shot all the content and cover art. Like 99% of the visuals that you'll see coming from the Let's Go rollout is shot by Lucid Jason, directed by Lucid Jason, edited by Lucid Jason. So he's the GOAT. He's a good friend. Both of them are great friends. Beyond the creative collaboration, they're good, kind people that I would like to be around, even if we weren't collaborating together. And I think that's like what's most important. Um, yeah, just being able to work with good people is very nice.
Project is really really good, and I really enjoy the fact that you. I'll go for it.
I can't forget astronaut Troy. Shout out Troy for mixing and mastering the whole project. Yeah, I can't forget Troy. Yeah.
No, shout out to him. Feels very complete, you know. And then um, another thing too. How did you go about naming the project?
Oh yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie, dog. So like it's me and Esco. He's the primary producer on all the tracks, on most of the tracks. And I was just thinking about like rapper and producer duos and how they always have cool names for their projects and stuff. Like Madlib and MF Doom, they got Mad Villain, Mad
Mm,
Villainy, Anderson Pocket Knowledge, they got No Worries. Like it's tight. They got a cool combo name of some sort. I tried figuring out how to do that with Esco and it just wasn't working. So I wanted to pay homage to him as the producer, and I think it works as like a double entendre of like having your emotional baggage and moving forward. It's like let's go, it's like optimism, like let's just move forward with whatever we got going on. And Esco is in the name. So
hmm.
it's just like a cool double entendre. It's a kind of a phrase I say a lot. It's something people be saying, so yeah, I felt like it worked well.
And how did you go about your own rapper name? Like why MMW?
Yeah, bro. Damn, dog. My mind wanders. Man-made weapon. Music, meditation, water. Mark my words, nigga. It's my initials. And yeah, it was another thing of like, yo, what's a cool way to flip my name? And I just loved how like the letters, all caps, kind of looked symmetrical. And I was making my name during our future era. So like, them niggas' names is like Jasper the Dolphin, Earl Sweatshirt, Damo Genesis, like Casey Veggies. I was trying to do some silly shit like Danimals or something, but like Matt Mystical. Nah, I wasn't finna do nothing like that. But like, yeah, I tried many names in my teenage years, and MMW just stuck, and it's cool because like the it's not just like a bunch of acronyms for no reason. Like I think like there's so many aspects to myself and my music that I have yet to even like create yet. So it's just like MMW can mean a lot of things. But it's all coming through one source. Yeah, nigga, that's me. No, my official debut albums were I think I'm making great music and I love Let's Go. But like once I get to the point of like this is the album, it's gonna be called Mark My Words. Like they're gonna be actual MMW acronyms. I'm gonna name projects MMW acronyms. I don't think I ever said that publicly yet. But once I get to like, all right, nigga, I'm making the album worthy music, that's when the MMW acronyms finna pop out.
Mm,
Trust as the album titles. Yeah,
man, it's gonna be tough. Damn.
yeah, yeah. In due time, in due time.
How do you feel about the the music industry as a just kind of as an ecosystem? Because I know there's a lot of people who feel as though, oh, like music ain't like what it used to be. You know, rap is cooked. Is this XYZ? And I was just having a conversation with my uncle like last week. He's like, I've been
Mm,
listening to the same 300 songs for the last 5 years because I don't like the radio. I don't like this. You know, this
yeah.
type of music is, all these different names. And I'm curious as to how you feel being someone in the industry and being someone that makes music. Like, do you feel as though it's an ecosystem that is like less than what you'd want and you're trying to add good to it? Or do you feel that there's just like hidden gems everywhere? Like, what's your assessment of your terrain?
Yeah, it's a good question. One, I don't feel like I'm in the industry at all. I'm a nigga that makes all my music in my room and posts it. and hits up my friends to make stuff together. Like until the industry start giving me some money, nigga, I ain't in the industry yet. For real, for real. Um, it looks fun. It looks fun. It also looks kind of crazy, but hey, bro. In terms of the ecosystem of hip hop, like I don't know, the whole discourse about like hip hop dying and shit, and just it no longer being on the top of the charts and things like that. Like it's been a whole thing. I don't know. My relationship with music and hip hop specifically, the stuff that I loved and held dearest to me has never been the most popular thing. So I never expected it. That never came into question of like numbers or popularity. It's just like, nigga, we have the internet. I found what I liked and I found a lot of what I liked. And that influenced me and like went into created how I approach this thing that I do. So like the idea that music is worse or like hip hop is worse or like nobody's doing it right, like you're just not looking, in my opinion. You're not truly looking if you can't find something that you like in hip hop. It's for 50 years in, we're 50 years in, we're the most expansive we've ever been in hip hop. The golden era for me, right? Like old head niggas gonna be like the 90s. You know what I mean? Like that's the golden era of hip hop. For me, the golden era was like 2013 to like 2018 alternative hip hop, Chance Acid Rap era, Childish Gambino because of internet, Tyler the Creator Wolf, Earl Doris, like Pusha T, My Name Is My Name, Schoolboy Q, Oxymoron. Like that is what created me and what I revere the most in hip hop, right? And now like the zeitgeist is kind of like the rage, opium, Playboy Cardi sound. Um, I don't get it. It was never for me. You know what I mean? It's not my thing. I don't put niggas down for that. It's just not my thing. Um, but that's all to say, like, what's cool about hip hop expanding so much is that there is something for everybody now. It's like the girls are low key running hip hop on a mainstream level right now, anyway. So it's like, yeah, bruh, I'm over the discussion of hip hop is dead or like it's just it's kind of corny. Like there's good stuff. There's good stuff. And I don't see myself as like I need to make hip hop's dying. I need to make the good shit again. Like I don't know. That's too much on a high horse for me. Like I think like what I can do, like the best that I can service, the best way I can service music and whoever listens to me is just making what feels truest and most unique to me. Whatever comes from that comes from that. But it's like too much for me to think that like that's not my job. I'm not a music critic. Nigga, I just gotta make cool shit and hopefully people like it.
I don't think the responsibility is on any particular person to like to change an industry, whether it's for better or for worse. It's like you kind of just you add to this thing and it creates the culture. The culture in itself is like an emergent property. It's just of what everybody's kind of putting into the fire. If you were to be there when I was having that conversation with my uncle and he's like, yeah, like I don't know, like, you know, nobody news out there, like who would you or what would you recommend him to listen to for people who are like looking for some new and they don't know where to go? Who would where would you
Answer
direct
for
them?
your quickly or just anybody?
Just anybody.
Oh shit, who's the new niggas, bro? Because I told you my golden era, and I'm lucky like that's. I would say like the newest wave that interesting to me, right? Like there's that first era of alternative hip hop, like I mentioned, Chance. We got Gambino, we got Saba, McJenkins, No Name,
Yeah,
Isaiah
no name.
Rashad.
Yeah.
There's too many. There's too many to count. And they're all still making music, though they're not necessarily the zeitgeist of underground hip hop anymore. They're not like the mainstream, or not the mainstream, but like the main moving force of hip hop. Underground hip hop, I would say there's two sides that's moving in underground hip hop right now. There is the Rage, Opium, Playboy Cardi side. I don't know a damn thing about it. The other side is like the quote unquote abstract rap side, where you'll see Earl kind of the grandfather in a sense. I don't want to get in trouble saying that, but yeah, Earl kind of popularized. Earl and Mike are kind of the leaders of that side of abstract rap, quote unquote. So we got niggas like Mike is hard, Earl hard, Navy Blue, Mavi, Overcast, Overcast stupid hard, and I think he's maybe one of the more accessible ones. Who's my homies, nigga? Israel Jones hard, bruh. Um, oh boom, they made hard, bruh. Who else can I shout out, bruh? And I don't want to like lead nobody out, but yeah, it's a lot of the Griselda niggas, West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher. If you an old head, you gonna like Griselda because it's really niggas talking fly shit over boom bap beats and like minimalist sample beats. Like if you listen to my song called Earl Baddies, any nigga that I shout out in that song, listen to that nigga. That's the answer. Any nigga that I shout out in Earl Baddies, that's the answer.
Well, you know what to do after that. Gotta go play that song. It's the way. What are some things that inspire you outside of music? What are some things that
Mm,
that you get into when you have the time?
bro, I started taking improv classes, like for the past like month and a half, and that's been really interesting. It's kind of like opening me up in ways I haven't before. It- I took it so I could be a better performer, to be honest, and just be like more expressive person. Which I think I'm a good performer, but I think I could still just get better at freestyling in general, right? I think that's where I suffer the most in life is like one of my weaknesses is not having a plan, right? Like I can perform so confidently because I know I made these songs and these are fire and I know I can make and edit a really good thing. When I don't have a plan, when I got a freestyle, that's where it's like I can get better at that, you know? So improv, been taking those classes. It's been very interesting because you quite literally cannot plan for anything that goes on in improv. It's teaching me to just be very present in the moment with things. Um, Also, like just from a performance aspect, like more physicality. I think I'm generally like a chill guy, so it's forcing me to like you kind of in improv. The classes are just us in the class, but it's like it's as if you have to act as if you're performing for other people, right? So you're facing the audience at all times. You're giving facial expressions and emoting 110% more so that they can see it and understand and relay the emotion that you're giving off, right? And like physicality wise, you have to make everything grander and larger, you know? So it's expanding me in those ways. It's kind of the most uncool shit you can do. You know what I mean? Like it's shit for quirky white millennials. You know what I mean? Like that's the majority
Mm.
of who's in the in the classes. You know what I mean? It's just like quirky white people doing silly shit all day. And so that's forcing me out of my box and having to be more expressive in different ways, which is cool. Um, so that's been inspiring in and of itself. I'm finding I'm just being more curious in the present moment of like how I can add to whatever somebody gives to me, right? In any sort of social exchange and opening up possibilities that I never thought of. It's like I'm having more of an active brain in a present moment when I'm having social interactions. Outside of music, the event shit with off days, um, like designing experiences to like platform other creatives, platform myself, and also just be a way for people to meet each other. Like there's so much that goes into even the simplest of events that you could think of, right? We're planning an open mic, which we've done before, but it's like we're doing it in a slightly different way this time, improving from last time. And just like figuring out ways that allow culture to be made in real time, people to meet each other, like engineering, so like engineering people, like engineering a space designing a space so that people can convene, share, and exchange things. You know, is really cool. I'm finding myself solving a lot of problems with that. And also, I think like experiential things, like just in real life events, is the wave. I think with AI kind of getting into every corner of our lives, we're trusting digital spaces less and or we're trusting them less because we don't know what's real. And the only thing that is real is what you can see and feel and touch in real life. And so I think we need to double down on real life experiences and make them the best, most meaningful things for people. I think that's like the future. I like to invest in I like the idea of investing in real things. Rambled a bit. But yeah,
You're
that's
all
what I've been.
good. That that's good stuff. And I think that especially there's like I feel like there's a pendulum shift. It's like as we swing to one way, like there's just naturally gonna be an urge to go back the other way.
Good old fashioned social interaction, nigga. Like,
Hmm.
and it's like I know we're in a shift in history. Like the AI shit just dropped in like 2022, for real, to the masses. We're in a shift in history as artists. Like, we're gonna see a massive split in the niggas who go all the way into the AI shit versus the niggas who go all the way analog and like maybe the analog side will feel more countercultural and cooler. And this is not to say I'm anti AI, right? I use ChatGPT to help with like administrative things, repeatable tasks that I don't want to spend my brain power doing. With my creative outputs, uh, with my music, I'm not finna make no beat on Suno, bruh. I'm not finna, you know what I mean? Um, I did make some cover arts with AI. I'm not gonna lie, niggas gonna clock me if I make too harsh of a stance. I did make some cover arts with AI a couple years ago, but that was when this stuff just dropped, and I was trying to drop super consistently. So I don't plan on doing that moving forward. But yeah, that's all to say, bro. I think we're gonna see a split as artists and people who fully lean into the AI stuff and like drink the Kool-Aid about the future of AI.
Yeah.
Versus the folks who want to be more analog and more touch the grass. Let's speak. Let's look at each other in real life and things like that. And I'd rather be on that side. I think more so, more so.
What do you think is a very important topic that we have not talked about yet?
Dude, I don't know. Shoot, we talked about AI. I
You
don't know, man.
know, we went to a lot
Uh,
of different places.
we did, bruh. I don't know. I want to ask you, like, what stood out to you when you listened to the EP? Like, what did you get from it, or like, curious your perception. I'm curious on anyone's perception on my art, to be honest.
Y- The thing that I really, really enjoyed about your music is it's about the the delivery and the energy. It's really just an energy because I was talking to somebody. Um, I'm not gonna butcher his name, but his music name is Stress Gods. It's him and another guy. Uh, they they could work on the name Stress Gods, and he spoke about how he was breaking down the science of music to me, and how as you listen to music, the vibrations of music they almost prompt you to move a certain type of way or to feel a certain type of way. And so that's why, depending on how we feel, certain music hits sometimes, and then on other days it won't, and vice versa. And there's just something about how your it's the way that you interact with your instrumentals, and then the way that you there's like an inflection that you have like on your in your voice, or like a twist, like a it takes up so much energy and like power and like space. And I think that's even what got me out of the chair that day to go and check you out, because I'm hearing music the whole time. Everybody's performing, everybody's playing instruments and talking and being, and it's not even a volume, because there were people who were even louder and like quieter, but it was like it demands attention and it demands respect.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that part in particular. My favorite song on there was the first song, Bittersweet. Just
Yeah.
I just like the sound just sonically. It just was just nice. It was like candy in my ear. And there weren't like specific there were specific like not that they didn't stand out to me, but it wasn't like anything that I'm like, no, this is like that wasn't the thing that had me connecting to the music. It was really just like it's a fun listen, it's a lot of energy. And even though they hit real places, you deliver them in a way that is it's fun to consume. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like all the mess that you're talking about. It's like, no, I can actually just, you know, it almost helps
Yeah.
you see the bad part in a nicer light. It's like,
Yeah.
dang, like we can make, a rough situation sound this nice. It's like, well, dang, you know.
Um, oh yeah, I appreciate you listening, first of all. Um, and I really appreciate you mentioning how like my voice and my inflection felt powerful because I feel like that's something I never felt a lot growing up. I just didn't feel like I felt like high school, middle school, just kind of somewhat invisible. Just like people felt indifferent towards me. Like I didn't have impact on people. And I think a lot of that was just I didn't have my self confidence that I found later on in life to be a more expressive version of myself. But I think music allows me to like be the most powerful version of myself, you know, even on like the introspective bars and things like that. Thank you. That means a lot to know that, like, yeah, my words can be affecting and impactful to people.
Absolutely.
Means a lot.
Absolutely. It's like it sounds like all caps, but not in a volume standpoint, but just I don't know, it's like easy to understand, hard to explain. It's in the it's in it's in its delivery, you know.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
Mm.
bro.
Well, man, we have a closing tradition on this podcast.
All
I
right.
told you some different definitions of the word vertex in the context of the podcast, but we actually have another context of vertex where I extend an invitation to each guest to attempt to reach any person, place, thing, anything in the world, um, and hopefully make a connection one day. My hope is that as the channel grows and as the show grows and the connections grow, we're more easily able to connect whoever the guest wants to connect with. And so this is my opportunity to you now. Who would you like to connect with? It could be a dream client, it could be a long lost friend, it could be, I mean, anything, anybody.
I have two answers. One more like deep, and then one more just like yeah, very much straightforward. First, I want to connect with Overcast. Niggas amazing artist and producer. I feel like we'll make some fire together. So yeah, bruh. Would love to connect with Overcast. I've been saying that in all my interviews. I ain't gonna lie. And second, I really want to just connect with like my roots, bruh. Like my grandpa passed recently on my dad's side, and I didn't know him super well because he lives in England, and so like that was like I met him a few times in my life. And then there's parts of on my mom's side in Jamaica that I don't know, so I want to like connect those with my roots, bro, and maybe spend some time abroad, spend some time with family and things like that. I want to like know who I am. It goes back to all what I was mentioning earlier about like going back to gospel music and Christianity and things like that. It's like yeah, I wanna know my roots.
Mm. Have you done much traveling in your life?
Yeah, I've done a bit. Just like last time I went to Jamaica, it was like a friend's birthday party situation, birthday trip. So it was like we was on like a resort, a villa, and we didn't. It wasn't time to go see locals or see my family and things like that. When I went to England last time, it was I went and I saw a lot of family actually, which was great. Um, I need to spend some time there as an adult, immerse myself in the culture more, do my own thing a bit there too, you know? Um, but yeah, I could definitely do more travel. Could definitely do
Mm.
more.
Hmm. And your and you say your mom is Jamaican. Is your dad Jamaican as well?
Yeah, yeah. All my grandparents are Jamaican on both sides. Um, and they all of them moved to England at some point and had children. Right? My mom was born in Jamaica, raised in England. My dad was born and raised in England. All my grandparents are Jamaican. My mom and dad moved to America, had me and my sister. So it's I think it's like the Windrush generation of the grandparents that moved from Jamaica to England. Um, and I am a result of that, a very American result of that.
Mm. Interesting. Such an interesting
Yeah.
background, and it's like you never know, just like
Yeah.
just meeting you never know. And I think that's what's interesting about
Yeah, bro. I tell people and they're like, "Where's your accent?" I'm like, "Bro,
it.
yeah, I was raised here."
It's like, come on now. If
I
I had a
mean,
if I had a dollar for every time we heard this one.
yes, bro, that ass, because you don't be asking your other homies that when their parents is from what Haiti or wherever. Um, yeah, so just
Mm.
one of those things. Cool though.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Well, thank you so much.
Where?
Oh, go for it.
I'm curious. What's your background, bro?
So I'm born and raised here in Atlanta. Well, specifically in Stone Mountain. That's
Yeah,
people still consider it Atlanta, but some people want to be technical skirts. But yeah, born and raised here. I went to Florida a little bit in middle school. My parents got a job down in Florida, so we were there for about 3, 4 years, and then we came back to Georgia. My parents split, and whenever we moved back, I stayed with my grandparents and finished out middle school and high school uh, with my grandparents, and then yeah, I've started doing murals in probably like 2017 ish, and I'd been drawing my whole life, kind of painting here and there. Then uh, once I started doing murals by way of my old high school principal, she had got a new renovation on the school, and she was like, "Well, we got this big wall in the staircase, in the stairway, and we want like a past student to paint it." I was originally like, "Nah, like I'm cool," because I'm at that like I went to that school and I know them people there, and like if I do a bad job on the mural, I'll never hear the end of it. And she's like,
mhm.
"Nah, like, don't worry about it. If you don't do a good job, we can just paint over it. It's fine." And I was like, "All right, fine." And so I gave it a shot and just fell in love with the process. I ended up doing like two more at the school, and then that got the attention of another principal. I did like a couple of years of like doing murals at that school over the summers, and then I took those murals and got into a festival in the city, and then I started getting some traction. I started interning at a bunch of agencies and just started learning the community and learning the city and just trying to like put my name in everybody's hat and just figure out like, what's going on, and just trying a bunch of different things in the process. And yeah, I'm just continuing that same course. And I've gotten to do murals. I mean, almost all over the world. I painted over in Europe for a festival. I was able to paint over in Hawaii for a good homie. Uh, all different types of well, Hawaii is a state, but also a bunch of different states in the country as well.
Do you do it full time? Like, is that your main source of income? If you don't mind me asking.
It is. It is. Somehow I get enough flow to
Yes,
be able
bro.
to just maintain.
Nigga, You won. You're paying rent off what you love to do, bro. You won. That's success, bro. Props. Honestly,
Man, I
it's
appreciate it.
amazing.
It's it's great, but it's also like I'm in a point where like I can stay I can be smooth, but it's hard to grow or to expand.
Mm,
And that's what I'm trying to do. Like whenever I want to like if I want to get like a new car or something, like I don't know how much
mm,
money I'm gonna make this year. You know, like
mm,
I might make more than I need. I might make a quarter of it. So it's hard for me to
mm,
like start making bigger moves in life without really having a plan. And so I'm trying
mm,
to do things that are a little bit more financially consistent. And
mhm.
so I wanted to start doing things, start making more tangible things. So I started doing comics. I started learning how to program for games and stuff like that to make something that like people can actually like have in their hands. I don't know if you remember like I had comics on the table
Yeah,
whenever you were at the show. And
yeah,
even like with this show coming up, I want to just have a bunch of stuff that people can like take. I don't want to have these like $20 million pieces that, you know, only the rich people can buy. And it's like I just want stuff that people can have and like um yeah, that's like my most like my biggest motivation with this whole thing is like being able to just get get the work out to people that have
yeah.
wanted something for a long time, because for a long time all I did was murals. So like it's they can't just take the wall home, you know, but if they want to support they're like,
The
dang, I don't know
picture,
what to do.
the
Yeah.
picture of a mirror does so much, right?
Yeah, so I started doing some shirts, started doing a comic. I got, you know, the show coming up. I have more comics planned, more stuff on the way. But yeah, then I decided to do this passion project, which is this podcast, because along the way I've gotten to meet so many cool people. And I think that there was that one moment I was telling you about with my friend in the karaoke where like I realized I only know these people on one dimension, and I just want to get to know more about these people because I feel like I don't know, I just find these people so inspiring, and they teach me something. Everybody I have a conversation with teaches me something, and like even this conversation here has taught me a lot, and it helps me actively augment my process. Like as I have been preparing for this show, I have been having conversations throughout, and it's been I go and like reevaluate what I'm doing in the studio like after every podcast. I'm like, dang, like that was a great piece of information. Like that's about to flip everything in here. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the story so far. I'm not sure. Um I don't know what like the ultimate goal is, but I'd love to be able to make something that outlives me. You know, like how like
Mm,
George Lucas made Star Wars. Like the day George Lucas dies, he will be very missed, but they will still continue to go to Disney World, and you know, Darth Vader will still sell out, Obi-Wan and all of them will still sell out. And if I can make anything even close to that, you know, I'd be happy.
yeah, bro. It's that, keep going. Keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you feel. When is your next show?
So the show is August the 14th. So still a
Okay.
few months out, but it feels very close for me. It feels like it's like tomorrow. But yeah, August 14th.
August August 14th. Okay. I'm like making a note in my calendar. I would love to pop out if I'm
Please
free.
do. Please do. It's gonna be a lot gonna be a lot of stuff there, you know, and I want it to be something that feels personal for each. You know, like it's one thing like a lot of people use solo shows to kind of put themselves on display. And in a way
Yeah.
I will be doing that, but I also want it to feel like you are a part of the show, you know, in
Hmm.
a strange way. So it should be fun. Should be fun.
I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. Mm. Thank you for
Yeah,
this interview too. It was cool.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, man. It's been enlightening, especially the point that we spoke about, just the pure expression being like the strongest connector amongst people, and that
Yeah,
really the person that I spoke to about like the light and the shadows, they introduced that idea to me, but I think that when we spoke, it really helped solidify that sentiment and help me understand it like full circle. And
yeah,
man, just even about the meditation practice and the way that you see the way that it changes the way that you see the world, seeing it as like a practice run for life or for the day, is something
yeah,
that's like, dang, like that makes so much sense. Like you can kind of go into it with that intention.
yeah, yeah, man. It's I don't know where I would be without my practice of meditation, to be honest. So I'm glad any of what I said is like resonating or like meaningful. This is cool. I don't get much time to like have this extensive of a conversation and just say what I feel beyond the music. So it's cool. Thank you for this platform.
Thank you for being willing to do this. And I know that what we've talked about will help people, and I hope that you feel proud of the way that you were able to speak on your life and on your work, because it it will be the thing that somebody listens to and it helps them go through,
Yeah,
into the next day, or, helps them to push to make their first project or their next project.
yeah, yeah. It's cool. It's kind of hard for me to realize sometimes that like yeah, what I do impacts people or can have the ability to impact people. I'm just so much in the process a lot of the time. So, but yeah, I'm glad for the opportunity to be able to do it. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm so for real about that freaking Stone Mountain like hike up too. Like
yeah,
that would be so like I don't know. I'm seeing it now, and I'd love to find some kind of way to have it blend with the vision you already have and the way that you want to roll out content. But
yeah.
so for real about that.
I think that's kind of confirmation because like I had quite literally like the starting point of my life experience was like I'm gonna hike up Stone Mountain and I'm gonna live stream it and I'm gonna perform all the songs and shit like that. But like I like that this is more like I like your way into it being more of like a conversation piece, a way for you to um, say things, show symbols that are meaningful to you and expound on them, and then me to do the same. I think that would be cool. So let's definitely talk more. Let's talk more about it.
For sure, for sure. And I think that it'd be cool to have the concert up there too. Like, or I don't know if it's a concert, but you're performing live up there, right?
Yeah, yeah. We're not doing it at Stone Mountain though. We're doing it at like a different park. Just somewhere where we can have more people. It's easier access. But this thing could be a separate, like what you're describing, could be a separate thing. So I think,
Mm,
yeah, we can talk through it.
bet, bet. I'm gonna go in and get my LRG, my LRG on, get my big old bag.
For sure.
uh,
For sure.
yeah, everybody should go and listen to Let's Go. I listened to it multiple times over. I will probably continue to listen to it multiple times over. And it's a quick listen through. Like, even if you, I think the whole project's like 20 minutes or something.
It's like 18 minutes or something. Right.
Yeah.
Run it
So
back
it's like
times, yo. Yeah.
you've got the time. You definitely have the time. You watch two Instagram reels, it's been 30 minutes. You know that. You know you got
Play
time.
it on work, bro, on the way back. What I'm saying?
Mhm. And so for people who want to find you, on other platforms, how can they reach you?
Pretty much on Instagram and TikTok at this.mmw. It's THIS.mmw. Uh, and yeah, bro, we got a live experience coming up May 30th. So this comes out before then. Tap in. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna bring y'all into the world of Let's Go. Get some air, touch some grass. It'll be a nice time.
Mm, shout out. Shout out. I'm hyped. Said May 30th.
Yeah,
Right.
Saturday.
Saturday, May 30th. And said it's at another, like, at a park, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna have more details for sure. I don't want to say too much right now, but depending on when this comes out, most likely we'll have a flyer by then. So yeah,
Okay. Cool, man. Um, I think that's what we got. That's
we got
all.
it.
That's all for it. Thank you so much for watching the episode. One of my favorite things about doing this podcast is hearing about when someone resonates with something we said. It's truly the reason I continue to make these happen. Comment down below what stuck with you, and we can continue the discussion further. Also consider liking and subscribing. It helps me bring in more amazing creatives and helps me make this show better for you all every episode. Catch y'all next week.